Welcome to DJ's Corner, it's just my opinion. Diving into mysteries, wrestling dominion. From true crime chills to comic book thrills, I break it down for you with all the feels. DJ's Corner, just my point of view. Funny and smart, bringing something new. From villains misunderstood to wrestling views. Tune in, my friends, it's the truth review. Let's talk Lex Luthor, business tycoon, falling from grace, aiming for the moon. Or Harley Quinn struggling, misunderstood plight in my corner. We'll get her story right. Let's talk Lex Luthor, business tycoon, falling from grace, aiming for the moon.
Hey everyone, welcome back to DJ's Corner, just my opinion. You know how we do it here. True crime, misunderstood villains, deep dives into stories that will keep you up at night. Today we're kicking off a series that is as dark as it gets. We're talking about Pedro Alonso López, the monster of the Andes. This guy isn't any other serial killer. He is one of the most sickest, prolific in history, with over 300 victims across Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. But before we get into the terrifying crimes, we need to understand how it all started. What turns a kid into a monster? Let's go back to where it all began. So Pedro Alonso López was born in 1948 in San Isabella, Colombia. Right from the jump, his life was a mess. He was one of 13 kids, and his mother was out there trying her best just to keep them fed. And when I say trying, I mean just barely getting by. His dad, you may ask, was already gone. He was killed in some political violence before Pedro was even born. So imagine growing up in all kinds of chaos, no father figure, and a mom who's doing whatever she can to just survive. By the time Pedro was 8, things took a turn for the worse. His mom caught him inappropriately touching his younger sister, and instead of trying to help him, she just straight up kicked him the fuck out. And boom, just like that, you have an 8-year-old kid that is homeless, roaming the streets, just trying to survive. As a child, this isn't a life anybody would want or can even imagine. But this is exactly what Pedro found himself in. Hungry, scared, and all alone. It gets worse. Not long after that, he's picked up by a guy who offers him shelter. Pedro probably thought he caught a break. But nah, this dude ends up abusing him and then even throws him out on the streets again. By 10 years old, Pedro has already seen the worst of what humanity has to offer. He's learned that you shouldn't trust anyone and you should fend for yourself, stealing, begging, doing whatever it takes just to make it to the next day. Pedro's first run-in with the law happened when he was 18. He got busted for stealing a car and ended up in prison. Now you may be thinking, okay, this is rock bottom. This is the wake-up call, right? Not even close. Prison was brutal. Pedro claimed that he was gang raped by other inmates. And instead of breaking him, it made him colder, angrier, more determined. He even killed his attackers in prison, stabbing him to death. This wasn't just justice. This was his first taste of power. And Pedro liked it. Prison didn't rehabilitate Pedro at all. It trained him. It made him more dangerous. He got out in 1978, but by that time, the man who walked out of prison was damn sure not the same man that walked in there. He was on edge and becoming something much worse. Thinking about it, he had no home, no support, no future, and a whole lot of anger. That is a recipe for extreme disaster. So here's this jabroni fresh out of prison, No family to go back to, no job prospects, no nothing. And instead of trying to rebuild, he takes all that rage and turns it outward. He starts drifting between Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru, targeting young girls in poor communities. Kids who, like him, had no one looking out for him. But Pedro's not just a guy trying to get by anymore. He's actually hunting, setting traps, and nobody sees him coming. Pedro's early life was perhaps a perfect storm of neglect, abuse, and anger. It didn't just push him to the edge, it threw him right the fuck over. And while some might have found their way back, Pedro's just falling deeper and deeper into the abyss. Next, we'll dig into how he went from a troubled drifter to the monster of the Andes. And trust me, it only gets darker from here. Thanks for hanging out with me at DJ's Corner, Just My Opinion. If you're new here, hit the subscribe, the like, smash, all that jazz. And hey, even drop a comment below. What do you think about Pedro's early life? Do you think it was fate? Could something have changed his path? Let's talk about it. Until next time, stay safe, keep your eyes open, and remember, sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones that start as victims themselves. Stay safe out there. And once again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Like I said, if you want the Cliff Notes version of this, it is on the YouTube channel at DJ's Corner, Just My Opinion. The same exact handle. Links will be in the description below. Check out Misunderstood Villains, Marvel shit, anime, all that cool stuff. But I will be showing love on the Spotify if you want more in-depth storytellings of these Cliff Notes versions. Cool. If you're just a person that just want to see visuals and just a quick fly-by-night, definitely hit the YouTube channel. Check out the Instagram and the TikTok and all that stuff. Yeah, we're just going to be having fun. But I like in-depth shit. So I wanted to just show some love for people who want to get a little more into this. So like always, stay safe and always be inspired. Peace.